Hi there, Steve Grant here, the creator of Gym Hub, and in today's short video, I want to show you how to create an avalanche of leads so you can grow your fitness business fast and fill your gym. So whether your goal is to increase your direct debit billing to up over $1 million per year, or whether you're just focused on the next $20,000, let me show you where today's training fits into the bigger picture. So there's three main areas of growing $1 million fitness business. The first one is attract, we then have maximize, and then we have retain. So with attract, what we're looking at here is your ability to meet more of your target audience, and it's your ability to warm them up from, hey, I'm a little bit interested in the thing you have recommended on Facebook, all the way up to like an 8 or 9 out of 10 where they're ready to buy your services and your product. The second thing we're looking at is to maximize. So this is where we want to focus on things like sales conversion. We want to make sure we're not wasting any opportunities from marketing. We want to make sure that we're actually converting them into paying members. When we maximize, we're looking to increase profit. We're looking to develop our team and ensure that there's systems inside our business so that we can make additional revenue streams, things like personal training, things like virtual training. Now the third piece of the puzzle is this one here called retain. And you hear that thrown around a lot when it comes to a fitness business, and it's because it is so important these days. So in the past, there weren't a lot of gyms, so the big focus was always around lead generation and attracting new people. However, if we don't have all three components in running a modern fitness business, what you'll find is you'll have 20 people start and then 20 people leave, and you end up quite frustrated. You finish each month feeling like you've sort of hit a bit of a ceiling, where your profitability, because there's an increase in expenses, an increase in wages each year, your profitability actually goes down. So for today's training, I said it'd be a crash course. There are 9 different modules that go into creating $1 million fitness model, but I want to focus on the one which is creating an avalanche of leads. So it's this one here, and it's part of the attract module. And if I'm honest, this is the one that fitness business owners ask about the most. Perhaps it's something that you personally would also benefit from. Let's take a look. So before we look at what we can fix in terms of lead generation, let's just do a quick review on how your business is going right now. So I actually like to use the analogy comparing lead flow to that of like water through a tap. So if you think about it, there's really only 5 different descriptions on how lead flow is going for your business at the moment. Now, if you use the analogy, a rusted tap is one where you've got no lead flow. This is where, if anything, you're probably just getting a few referrals and makes it really hard to grow. The next one is where you've got a leak. So you've got a couple of leads coming through, but there's nothing really to get excited about. One that's a little bit better is when you start to get a trickle. The challenge with a trickle is that it's inconsistent. So you get leads one month and then not the next month. Now, where it gets exciting and where we see fitness businesses growing the fastest, the ones that are the most profitable, are definitely those ones that can get their lead generation moving to either a flow or a flood. Now, a flow describes when you're actually consistently getting leads every week, every month, and you can actually grow your fitness business at the speed that you want. And the flood, I guess, just talks about that abundance, where there's actually more leads than you need. There's the requirement to get more staff on board, there's systems and things required, because you're actually growing as fast as you want, and you can also turn them on and off as often as you want as well. So let me ask you, with your fitness business, if you had to rank it out of those 5 areas, is your lead flow currently a rusted tap? Is there a leak? Is there a trickle of leads coming through? Do you have a flow of leads coming through, or is there a flood? Just take a minute to stop the video for a second and write down where your fitness business is at right now. So I shared the 3 circles with you where we spoke about attract, maximize, and retain. And because this is a crash course and we don't have time to cover everything today, I want to focus on the thing that I feel like you'll get the most value from, and that's creating an avalanche of leads. Now I want to help you to understand what's required to actually fix this. So if you're not currently getting a flow or a flood, this is what you need to be thinking about. So the first one is simplify, the next one is amplify, and the third one is automate. Take a look. So the first mistake I see gym owners making here is their marketing is too complicated. So my first tip for you is to simplify. What I mean by that is before we start running Facebook ads, before we start talking about funnels, which is a popular word, we need to actually strip things back and get a lot clearer around what we're trying to achieve. So the steps that we go through is identifying a really clear point of difference for your gym. What are you actually uniquely good at? What are you known for? And what do you actually want to be number one in your market for? The second thing we look at is who your target market is. So rather than trying to deliver a product which caters for everyone, instead I'd like you to think about niching down and just designing your marketing to actually approach one target audience. So it might be male, it might be female, it might be women under the ages of 30 who are interested in triathlon. But when we actually start to align the target market with a strength that we have in our business, that's where we start to crush our competitors, and it's very hard for them to actually compete. The third thing to consider is the product. So instead of trying to market all things at once and saying, yeah, we're going to crash, and yes, we do spin classes and do some personal training, we need to make sure in our marketing message that it's simple. So we talk about what we're good at as a point of difference. We go out to one target market, but we only do one product or service at a time in each campaign. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we really drill down on what your message is. What do you actually want to be known for? And who are you good at actually helping? So that's simplify. So a great example of a client that we've worked with is Mark and Deb Patience at Kingdom Gym in Brookvale, New South Wales. What we found with those guys is they were excellent in terms of their product, and they were quite well known in the local area. But what they were kind of missing was they were attempting to sort of get out there and yell over the top of people, either spend more on social media or simply sort of try and force the issue. And what we did, by actually clarifying who they were and what they were good at, by actually getting some targeted marketing going with a consistent marketing message, they were able to add 308 new members in the first 12 weeks of the Gym Hub program. So the second piece of the puzzle, if you're trying to increase the lead flow for your fitness business, after we simplify and we get really clear on the message, we then want to amplify. Here's what I mean by amplify. So the first part is actually building a really big list of loyal followers. So it's a big email list, it's a big social media following, and making sure people are actually not only aware that you exist, but they're starting to follow your posts. The second part of Amplify is your content. Now, the best content is video, and it's not by just posting 10 times per day. It's not by being on social media more than your competitors, but instead it's posting content that is valuable for your target audience. If it's outside of the target audience, you don't care, you don't post it, but you want to be posting video tips around nutrition, around training, things that your target audience are really going to appreciate and therefore see value in. The third part is credibility. So we know that before we start running campaigns, if you have credibility, people will consider your offer and your promotion far more appetizing than if you don't have credibility. So the best ways to get credibility is using Google reviews and making sure we get heaps and heaps of those. The other one is using videos and testimonies from our members. So rather than you saying you're really good at the product, we're actually getting the members to share their experience. And social proof means a lot for your credibility. The last part of Amplify is traffic, and this is where most people probably thought this video would start. It's like, okay, well, what's the best way to start? Do we do Facebook ads, or do you think Google's best? And what you found from this video, before we do any of that, we actually need to simplify things and get really clear on your message and who you are first, who your target audience is first. We then need to amplify so more people know about your services, and the ones that do, they're actually looking up to you. They're actually driving past 5 other gyms in the local area because they've seen that you're getting great results for other people. They've read some of your content and they've watched some of your videos. So you're like a mini celebrity in the area. Once we have that, and then we start running some traffic and we're getting more and more people to actually see what it is that we're doing, that's where we're going to start getting some real traction. So a great example of a client that we've worked with one-on-one with some mentoring is Simon McDonald who owns a personal training studio in Sydney. So this was a successful business, had been running for about 8 years, but it was just plateauing. Unfortunately, because a lot of what they were doing in terms of lead generation was same. Now, through working with Gym Hub, they were able to not only increase their profit by 70%, but they were also able to retain their entire team of staff for over 12 months. The big thing that they actually had to change was making sure that there was some fresh and creative ideas for actually getting their brand out there, but more importantly, making sure that there was credibility before they went to market with their offer. So before we look at the third piece of the puzzle in how to increase the lead flow to fill your gym, let's do a quick recap. So step one, before we start doing Facebook ads, before we start thinking about AdWords or anything like that, we actually want to simplify. We want to get really clear on who we are and who we help. The second part is amplify. So it's our job in this part to actually get a larger audience, and not only an audience, but a loyal audience that's following you. And they're moving from, you know, I saw that thing you did on Facebook and I'm a little bit interested, all the way up to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, where they drive past 5 other gyms in the local area to choose you and come and work with you. Now, the third piece of the puzzle for lead flow is this one here, and it's called automate. Take a look. So automate is something that's really, really important, and let me explain why. So we looked at the analogy before of the leads coming through a tap, or your lead flow. And reality is, as you start to get better at this, you'll not only get a flow or a flood of leads coming through, but you'll actually start to create different problems. What I mean by that is, if I was to 10x the number of inquiries that you had tomorrow, if I was to 10x the number of calls you had to make, like sales calls, or even 10x the number of members that were coming in every week, the reality is most of us would probably break first. So the third step, and this is the one that most gym owners never get to, is considering how to manage the lead flow now that it's pumping through and there's a gush or a flood of leads coming through. So let's talk about automate. So what I mean by this is, and something we do as part of the Gym Hub mentoring, is done for you campaigns. So what we want our gym owners to focus on is delivering the product and service. We want them to check quality control. We want them to develop their teams. We want to make sure that their product and service is second to none. And to do that, we actually want to take all the heavy lifting off you, and we want to make sure that there's done for you campaigns. So the things that we'll plug in for you, firstly, is an irresistible offer. So to give you a library of different offers that we know are actually going to get your target audience interested in taking action. The second part is a landing page. So instead of chatting to people on the phone that don't really know too much about them, we want to warm them up, send them to a video, send them to information, send them to testimonies on a landing page. So before you even chat to them on the phone, they're already a 9 out of 10 interested and keen to start. The next part is SMS and email. These are really low cost ways of automation. And essentially what we're trying to do is take you out of the picture. If we turn the taps on, we get the lead flow pumping, we want to look after you. We want to make sure you don't go bald and stressed and divorced at home because you've got so much work happening. We need to make sure there's longevity in the industry. So it is the combination of that. And the third part is automation. So we need to simplify to start, amplify second, and then we want to automate so there's longevity in the industry and so you enjoy the process along the way. So to give you a good example of a client we've worked with that is automated really well, I was thinking of Vicky and Mitch from Real Fitness Training in New South Wales. So with the help of the Gym Hub mentoring, they've not only been able to increase their profitability by 53% in the first 6 months, but they also won the National Fitness Business of the Year. What's cool about it for these guys is they're a couple. They're conscious of not only doing well in business, but they also want to have a nice lifestyle and stuff around it. So by automating, by actually getting this process set up where there's leads coming through consistently, there's other staff involved in selling, there's other people and systems and processes around there, there was less for them to do. And what that meant is he could not only grow more staff, more members, but also gave them the opportunity to take like 3 weeks over in Greece and actually enjoy a bit of a lifestyle as well. So thanks for watching this short video. Keep in mind, we've only covered a little piece of the puzzle. Remember, we spoke about attract, maximize, and retain, and today's video was essentially focused on creating an avalanche of leads. Remember when we drew the diagram? If you identified that your fitness business probably is lacking lead flow, there's something you need to do about it. I really want you to use this video to take action. Remember the diagram of how to fix it? We spoke about simplify your message and get really clear on who your target market are. Second, we spoke about amplify and making sure you've got a big audience, but also a loyal audience who are then interested in doing some work with you. And last of all, make sure you maintain your sanity by putting automation in place so you can have a bit of a life and you're not always sort of tied to your gym all the time. I run a fitness business myself. It's called Rush Cutters Health, based in Sydney. I'm passionate about helping gym owners, and I'm fortunate enough to work with hundreds of fitness businesses around the world. If you're someone that actually wants more help in actually implementing this process to get your lead flow all the way back up here where it's a flow or a flood, or perhaps you want some help around maximizing the profit or something around retention, I'd love to take a one-on-one session with you to pull apart your business and get some fast growth in the next 90 days. I hope you enjoyed the video.